A suspended stone circle is one of a series of propositions for suspended or balanced stones, all to do with suspension or propping, balancing.
If you come across stones just in their natural state on a riverbed or something, they have their own particular beauty. The water's rushing over them or they're sun-baked. But the moment you take them out of that context and put them in another context, suddenly their own inner voice is heard. They take on that life, or they give out that life of their own that's there. Discovering the fact that European and American artists were using natural materials, I suddenly thought of river stones. So I started using those, playing around with them. Then I did a series of drawings of all the possible ways in which the stones could be used. And I did that between about 72 and 76. And one of those was this particular work. But I couldn't realise that at a full scale until the Paris Biennale in '85. Put that smaller one in there.
Ken's work consists of performances that often involve propping, balancing, suspending, stoneworks like this that do the same thing, steel sculptures which often in public places that also demonstrate forces or balance, that have a kind of magic to them.
To put those stones in a relationship that finally finishes up with a coherence and a magic. It's purely intuitive how they're put together. They're not put together by a formula. This is a bit flat here. Yeah, just bring them out a bit. The white one. They're not concentric rings of stones. They're broken up, but they form a unified plateau. Like that.
So just the one.
And then thread that through. These threads that one can discern in my work are in everything that I do, and my very earliest sculptures were engaging with gravity or forces that could sustain them in some sort of position and give off that question of how is it happening. When you see one stone suspended by 3 wires, it's quite obvious what's going on. When you see 103, it's totally different. It becomes magical. The more wires you get in there, the more complex it becomes, threading the wires through.
He really stands out for me as, on the one hand, embodying some of the aspects of minimalism. This is what it is. This is a stone that hangs there. But it goes beyond that to become a kind of symbolist work, which is closer to arte povera. So it's turning what is apparently very minimal, very matter-of-fact, into something poetic, charged with temporality, defying gravity or whatever.
Less than that. Bring it back down.
It's not what it seems. And that's what Ken's work does. But it embodies, for me, a lot of the power of minimalism, but takes it a step further. It's that magic between the geometry, the perfection of the suspension effect, so that the wires, you sort of know that the wires are holding the stones up, but it doesn't look like they're holding them up. It looks like they're sort of pointing to them, or that they're demonstrating the force field that holds them in place or something. But they don't feel like they're mechanically lifting the stones.
It's done.
Something that weighs 3 or 4 tons, hovering in space, is a kind of magical idea. But it also touches on much more complex ideas about consciousness and the material world that it rests upon.
You're always hoping that you're creating work that